Heracles says you started talking about CCTV. Yeah, yeah, in the 70s. That was around since the 70s. Yeah, back to my original point about Enemy of the State. Like, why would coincidence theorists hallucinate that that's all fantasy? I mean, it's just kind of weird. I mean, it's just the progression of technology. Moore's Law, if you will, which I've talked about before, just like with alleged space travel. So supposedly they can't land anybody on the moon at all, and yet they have the technology to go to Mars now. So they could. The technology has progressed to the point of landing rovers on Mars, yet they can't go back to the moon, which they already supposedly did. And the NASA cultists maintain that that's all normal. I mean, does this pass even, a retarded child's sniff test? I mean, how gullible do NASA bootlickers have to be to think that technology's progressed? Look at this amazing technology, landing rovers on Mars. They couldn't land rovers on Mars in the 60s, but yet they could land men on the moon. Supposedly, the first successful lander was NASA's Sojourner, which touched down July 4th, 1997, part of the Mars Pathfinder mission. So technology is moving so rapidly that by 97 they could land rovers on Mars. So 1969, man on the moon. 1997, rover on Mars. So by this point, there should be men on Mars. Indy Cindy says, wasn't Russia first to Mars? It says here the first rover to successfully land. Well, let's see if there was a failed one. If you haven't checked out my episode on Nazis on the moon, check that out. So I don't know how much of this is disinfo, how much of it is, because again, I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue. This is, of course, MINDSHOCK, where the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. If Mars is simply another pond on some kind of near infinite plane on this earthly realm, is going to Mars merely going over a few ponds, and then that's what's being holographically reflected in some capacity in the sky. So you're not necessarily going to what you're seeing in the sky. That could be some kind of holographic projection or reflection. But either way, I went over Terzinski's theories, and supposedly there was some kind of joint Brazil-Vatican mission to Mars in the 70s, manned. And there is some alleged footage of that, which I played. And there's also a photograph of, do you guys want to see it again? The Terzinski leaked a photo of a Nazi moon base, a manned moon base. Who here has not seen it that wants to see it? I'll put it up. I'll put it on the screen, but definitely check that episode out. Give me 1 second. Let's see where it is. I mean, he had a ton of leaks here. So this is Vladimir Terzinski's leaked photo. Make of this what you will. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Supposedly, the Mars 2 probe was the first human-made object to reach the surface of Mars in a crash landing November 27th, 1971. Yeah, this doesn't pass the sniff test either. Because if they could crash land in 71, I mean, it takes almost 30 years to successfully land. That's kind of weird. Does this pass the sniff test? And supposedly, the Mars 3 probe successfully soft landed December 2nd, 1971. See, that makes more sense from November to December. And even transmitted for 20 seconds. And NASA did a flyby, allegedly, July 14th, 1965, returning the first close-up images. Yeah, this doesn't quite pass the sniff test. So the first lander so okay, the Luna 9 landed successful soft landing February 3rd, 1966. So they can go to, so they went to Mars in within 6 years. So the Luna 2 touched the moon in 1959, and there were people on the moon inside of 10 years. Just think about this. Let's use basic logic and Moore's law here. So you have the first unmanned lander, 1959. First human landed, 1969. First Mars lander, 1971. Still no human. According to this progression, by 1981, there should have been a landing, right? Okay, so first lunar flyby, January 4th, 1959. 59, then Mars flyby 65. Within 6 years, there's a difference. So there's a gap of 6 to 10 years between everything they're doing on the moon and everything they're doing on Mars. So where's the manned mission to Mars? Do any coincidence theorists or NASA cultists have answers here? Because if 6 to 10 years is the difference of tech between getting to the moon and getting to Mars, where's the manned land? The manned landing on Mars should have been in the 90s at the latest. At the absolute latest, just based on all of this technology. Flat Bob says, impossible to fake that. Are you talking about Terziski's image here of this manned lunar base?